Imagine this. You're lying in bed, the night is silent, but your mind is anything but. Thoughts swirl in endless loops. You're chasing sleep, but it always seems just out of reach, like trying to hold water in your hands. You try everything: meditation, relaxation techniques, a glass of warm tea, but nothing works. And then you hear about a secret. A secret so simple yet so profound, it has the power to bring you the deepest, most restorative sleep of your life. Zen. What if I told you that Zen Buddhism, an ancient practice that has transformed millions of lives, holds the key to unlocking the peace your restless mind has been craving? What if the answer isn't about doing more, but doing less? What if the secret to deep sleep lies in letting go, not just of your thoughts, but of your entire sense of self, of attachment, and of desire itself? You might be wondering, how could this ancient wisdom possibly work in today's chaotic world? Stay with me, because by the end of this journey, your view on sleep, and even life itself, will be forever changed. Zen will reveal a path that not only helps you sleep, but helps you find peace within yourself, right now, not tomorrow or someday. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe to our channel and click the bell so you never miss out on these life-changing insights. Your support keeps us motivated to create more videos that can truly transform your life, just like this one. Now, let's begin the journey into Zen and discover how it can give you the restful nights you've always dreamed of. The ancient heart of Zen, the religion of no religion. When we think about spirituality, most of us picture a system of beliefs, gods, texts, rituals, and rules. Some may picture a grand temple, the sound of bells ringing in the air, or perhaps even the sacred words of a revered text guiding us toward a better life. But in the case of Zen Buddhism, everything you think you know about religion might just be flipped upside down. Because Zen, as a profound spiritual practice, is often called the religion of no religion. What does that even mean? Zen is not a religion in the traditional sense of the word. It doesn't require belief in a supreme deity, nor does it ask for the submission of your soul to some grand cosmic force. Zen doesn't tell you what to believe. It doesn't ask you to memorize sacred texts or follow a divine path dictated by external forces. Instead, Zen asks something profoundly different. It invites you to look inward and see what is true for yourself, beyond the confines of concepts, beliefs, and teachings that you've been told to accept. At its core, Zen teaches that the answers to life's most profound questions, who am I? What is the nature of reality? Why am I here? Are already within you. You don't need to believe in anything that doesn't resonate with your direct experience. You need only to see for yourself. And therein lies the great paradox. Zen isn't about following a rigid belief system. It's about freeing yourself from the very need to follow anything at all. But how can this be? How can something as vast and mysterious as life be understood without a structured belief system to hold on to? Let's take a deep dive into what Zen really offers, and how this radical approach can lead to an experience of true peace and sleep, unlike any you've ever had before. Zen, the pathless path. To understand Zen, we need to take a step back from our usual way of thinking. For centuries, religions have asked us to believe in something beyond our direct experience: gods, afterlife, sacred stories. Zen asks us to challenge that model and look at the world as it truly is, without any preconceived ideas, without any layers of belief. Zen Buddhism, at its core, is about awakening, not just spiritually but emotionally, mentally, and physically as well. This awakening is not a distant future goal. It is not a goal at all, in fact. Zen teaches that enlightenment, or awakening, is not something you acquire, but rather something you realize. It's about understanding that the truth is not outside of us. It's already within us, right here and now, in this very moment. A Zen master once said, "The finger pointing at the moon is not the moon itself." In other words, teachings, practices, and philosophies are mere tools to point us toward the truth. But the truth is not found in the tools themselves. It's in the experience of looking beyond the tools. It's in directly experiencing reality, in being present. Zen doesn't ask you to believe in anything. It asks you to live, breathe, and experience the world without the filters of belief or expectation. For centuries, Zen masters have lived this truth and taught their students that spiritual realization comes not through the accumulation of knowledge, but through direct experience. This might sound simple, but it's profoundly radical. In a world that thrives on answers, Zen thrives on the question, what is true for you? The silence of Zen, living beyond the words. Let's think about silence for a moment. We live in a world filled with noise. Our minds are constantly buzzing with thoughts, worries about tomorrow, reflections on yesterday, fears about the future. But Zen teaches that silence is where the answers lie. Not silence as an absence, but silence as a presence, a space where everything that we are becomes clear. The Buddha, in his lifetime, faced many profound questions about life and the universe. People asked him about metaphysical issues, the existence of gods, the afterlife, the beginning of the universe. Often, his response was simply silence. Why? Because these questions, while fascinating, did not lead to liberation. They only trapped the mind in endless speculation, further away from direct experience. The Buddha was inviting his followers to look beyond the words, beyond the stories, and to see what is directly before them in the present moment. Zen practices, especially meditation, aim to bring us into this silence. It is in silence that we connect with the truth beyond concepts. The practice of Zen meditation, or Zazen, is not about finding a state of nothingness, but about being fully present in the moment. It teaches us to simply sit with whatever arises, without judgment, without attachment to thoughts, emotions, or the external world. Just being, just sitting, and in that space, letting everything unfold naturally. In our world, where silence is rare and stillness is often seen as a void to be filled, Zen offers something radical. It shows us that in the silence, everything is happening. The world continues to spin, and yet in the stillness of the moment, we find everything we need. You don't need to chase anything. You don't need to worry. Simply by being still, everything becomes clear. No God, no soul, just you. Here, that's where Zen becomes even more interesting and deeply liberating. Unlike many other spiritual traditions that emphasize faith in a higher power, Zen does not ask for belief in a God. In fact, the Buddha himself didn't focus on the idea of a God or an eternal soul. When asked about the afterlife or the existence of gods, the Buddha often remained silent or simply pointed back to the present moment, urging his followers to focus on their own direct experience. Zen Buddhism doesn't require you to believe in anything beyond your own experience. The essence of Zen is that you can find liberation in this very life, without needing to rely on beliefs in things unseen or unverifiable. It teaches that there is no permanent, unchanging self, no soul to hold on to. Instead, we are all constantly changing, flowing, and interconnected with everything around us. And this truth is liberating because it frees us from the burden of trying to be something we're not. It's not that Zen denies the existence of gods or a soul, but rather that it teaches you not to become attached to the idea of them. Zen points us toward a deeper truth, that the self we cling to so desperately is not fixed, but a fluid process that is always changing. The moment we release our attachment to a permanent self is the moment we find freedom. Zen, the path to peace and sleep. So how does Zen relate to sleep? Everything that keeps us awake at night, our worries, our regrets, our desires, is a product of the mind's attachment to the world. We chase after things that give us temporary pleasure, only to find that they don't last. We live in constant fear of losing what we have, and so our minds race, even when our bodies are tired. Zen teaches us that the key to peaceful sleep is to let go of these attachments. By practicing mindfulness and being present, we release the mental clutter that keeps us awake. We stop chasing after fleeting thoughts, stop clinging to worries about tomorrow, and instead rest in the stillness of the moment. When we do this, the body and mind can finally rest deeply, without the weight of anxiety or desire. In the next sections, we'll dive deeper into the specific practices of Zen meditation, mindfulness, and how you can apply these principles in your daily life to achieve not only better sleep, but a deeper, more fulfilling life. The Buddha's journey, from luxury to enlightenment. Imagine being born into a life of unimaginable luxury. Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, was a prince. His father, King Suddhodana, ensured that Siddhartha never encountered suffering or hardship. He was shielded from the realities of the world. He lived in a palace surrounded by beauty, opulence, and ease. Siddhartha had everything one could wish for: wealth, power, comfort. Yet something was missing. Despite the outward perfection of his life, something inside him felt incomplete. One day, Siddhartha left the palace and for the first time encountered the realities of human life: old age, sickness, and death. He saw a man ravaged by age, a sick person in pain, and a lifeless body being prepared for cremation. These moments shattered his sheltered understanding of life. He realized that no matter how much wealth, beauty, or luxury a person may have, all are subjected to the same fate: suffering. This experience led Siddhartha to leave his palace, his family, and all the comforts he knew to embark on a journey to understand the nature of suffering. He sought out spiritual teachers, practiced extreme forms of asceticism, and pushed his body to the limits. He starved himself, subjected himself to harsh conditions, believing that by denying himself, he could reach spiritual awakening. However, after years of this self-torture, Siddhartha realized something profound. Extreme deprivation didn't lead to wisdom. It led only to more suffering. This was when he discovered the key to enlightenment, the middle way. He realized that true wisdom lies not in excess or self-denial, but in balance. The Buddha's story is a reminder for all of us. Balance is the key to true peace. In a world that constantly pushes us toward extremes, Zen Buddhism teaches us that liberation comes when we walk the middle path, where we neither indulge nor deprive ourselves, but simply experience life as it is, without grasping, without clinging, but fully present in every moment. What is the middle way? In Zen, the middle way isn't about being lukewarm or indifferent. It's not about avoiding extremes in a way that leads to mediocrity. Instead, it's about finding the point of harmony between opposites. It's about living in the here and now with awareness, while neither chasing after pleasure nor running from pain. It's about embracing life's experiences without becoming attached to them. The Buddha's middle way teaches that we must neither indulge in excessive pleasure nor punish ourselves through asceticism. True peace and spiritual growth arise when we live mindfully, without attachment to either comfort or suffering. But how does this concept apply to our modern, fast-paced lives? We live in a world that constantly pressures us to do more, achieve more, consume more. Social media flashes images of perfect lives, perfect bodies, and perfect achievements, pushing us to compare and strive for more. On the other hand, there's also the temptation to retreat from the world, to disengage and shut out the noise, to embrace asceticism in an attempt to escape the overwhelming nature of modern life. Zen teaches us that the solution is not to swing between these extremes, but to find a path that is grounded in the present moment, attuned to life's natural flow, without grasping or pushing away. Finding balance in a world of extremes. It's easy to see why we often find ourselves pulled to extremes in life. There is so much pressure to succeed, to achieve, to fill our lives with more and more. We fill our days with endless tasks, hopping from one responsibility to the next. But as we strive to achieve, we lose sight of the present moment. The pursuit of success or fulfillment becomes a never-ending chase that leaves us feeling exhausted, unfulfilled, and restless. Then there are moments when we retreat into silence, trying to escape from the chaos. But even in this, there's an extreme: the desire to disconnect from the world. The temptation to withdraw completely and avoid the pressures of society may seem appealing, but it too brings a form of suffering, a disconnection from life itself. The middle way is not about either indulgence or isolation. It's about how we experience life with balance and harmony. This practice is especially needed today, when many of us feel torn between chasing dreams and avoiding life's harsh realities. To follow the middle way, we must learn to observe the ebb and flow of our desires and fears without becoming swept away by them. This is where Zen meditation comes in. It teaches us to sit with our experiences, to allow them to rise and pass without attachment. The art of letting go, balancing desire and contentment. One of the most challenging aspects of the middle way is the balance between desire and contentment. We live in a world that tells us we must constantly strive for more, be more, do more. We're led to believe that our happiness depends on the next achievement, the next purchase, the next social validation. But Zen teaches us something different. True happiness does not come from getting more. It comes from letting go. When we stop grasping at desires and attachments, we create space for true peace. This doesn't mean we give up on our dreams or aspirations. It means we stop clinging to them as if they define us. The middle way is about experiencing the world fully, without craving more or pushing it away. It's about living with intention and clarity. You don't have to chase your desires. You simply need to be present with them and let them unfold in their own time. Think about how often we spend our days chasing the next big thing, whether it's a promotion, a new relationship, or the perfect vacation. We think once I get that, I'll be happy. But the truth is, happiness doesn't come from external things. It comes from within. In Zen, the art of contentment is cultivated by letting go of the need for more. When we embrace life as it is, with all of its imperfections and uncertainties, we experience a peace that transcends the need for more. This is the true meaning of balance. Zen practices to cultivate balance in your life. To walk the middle way, Zen offers a variety of practices that help cultivate balance in our daily lives. These practices are simple but profound. Here are a few that you can start incorporating into your life right now. Mindful breathing. One of the easiest ways to come into balance is by practicing mindful breathing. When you feel overwhelmed or scattered, take a few moments to focus on your breath. Inhale slowly through your nose, hold for a moment, and exhale gently through your mouth. Allow each breath to ground you in the present moment, letting go of distractions. Zazen. Zen meditation, or Zazen, is the practice of sitting in stillness and observing your thoughts without attachment. This practice helps you create the mental space necessary to step out of the chaos and into a place of calm. Start by sitting quietly for 10 minutes each day, focusing on your breath and letting your thoughts come and go without judgment. Living with intention. Instead of rushing through your daily activities, take time to engage in each moment with intention. Whether you're washing dishes, walking, or having a conversation, bring your full attention to the task at hand. This practice teaches you to be fully present and helps eliminate the distractions of a busy mind. Embracing imperfection. Life is full of imperfections. Things don't always go as planned. Instead of fighting against life's imperfections, Zen teaches us to embrace them. When you encounter challenges, instead of resisting them, see them as opportunities to practice patience, resilience, and acceptance. The balance of giving and receiving. Another critical aspect of the middle way is finding balance between giving and receiving. In a world that often celebrates self-sacrifice, Zen reminds us that true generosity comes from a place of abundance, not depletion. If we give too much of ourselves without replenishing, we become exhausted, disconnected, and unbalanced. Zen teaches that we must be mindful of how we give to others and, equally important, how we allow others to give to us. The balance of giving and receiving fosters connection and harmony, both in our relationships and in our own hearts. This balance is essential for creating a peaceful mind and a healthy, balanced life. When we allow ourselves to receive, we open ourselves to the flow of life, and when we give, we do so with a full heart, free of expectations. Finding peace in the middle way. The middle way is a path that leads to inner peace and contentment. It's not about avoiding the ups and downs of life, but about learning how to navigate them with grace, awareness, and acceptance. The more we practice Zen, the more we come to understand that peace does not come from a perfect life, but from how we live our lives moment by moment. By embracing the middle way, we step out of the extremes of pleasure and pain, success and failure, and we find ourselves in a place of balance, a place where peace, love, and joy are not fleeting, but constant companions. The never-ending chase, understanding desire in Zen. Desire. It's the one thing we can't seem to escape, no matter how hard we try. We are constantly chasing something: success, possessions, relationships, approval, believing that once we attain it, we will find peace. But what happens once we achieve that desire? We often find ourselves empty, longing for the next thing. The cycle never ends. What we desire is always just beyond our reach, and yet we continue to strive, pushing ourselves harder, faster, in the hopes of finally filling that void. And the truth is, desire is one of the most potent forces keeping us awake at night. Zen Buddhism teaches us that desire is a root cause of suffering. The Buddha famously said, "No matter what you do, you will not be satisfied." This simple yet profound truth about desire is at the heart of Zen practice. Desire is endless. It can never be truly satisfied, and it will always lead us to another craving. We think that achieving our desires will bring us lasting happiness, but the reality is far different. The more we chase, the more exhausted we become, and in our constant striving, we lose the ability to rest, both mentally and physically. The paradox of desire, always wanting more. It's easy to see why we are driven by desire. We live in a world that constantly tells us what we need to be happy. Advertisements, social media, and society itself all bombard us with the idea that happiness is something we can attain, something we can buy, something we can achieve. We're taught to believe that once we get that dream job, the perfect partner, or the ideal body, we will finally feel complete. But is that true? Think about it for a moment. How often have you gotten something you desperately wanted, only to find that it wasn't as fulfilling as you thought it would be? How often have you reached a goal only to start yearning for the next one immediately? The Buddha recognized this cycle long before the advent of modern consumerism. He understood that desire is inherently insatiable. It can never truly be satisfied because once we obtain what we want, we only want something more. This is the paradox of desire. It's an illusion, a fleeting moment of satisfaction that quickly fades, leaving us craving more. The Buddha taught that the pursuit of desire leads to dissatisfaction, frustration, and suffering. It's not that desire itself is bad, it's part of being human. But when we become attached to our desires, when we believe that they are the key to our happiness, we create suffering for ourselves. In Zen, this attachment to desire is seen as the primary obstacle to peace. It's what keeps us awake at night, restless and yearning. Zen meditation offers a solution. It teaches us how to observe desire without attachment, how to simply be with it without letting it control us. Desire and the mind, the cycle of restlessness. Consider the mind before sleep. For many, the moment we try to fall asleep is when the mind is the most active. Thoughts race through our heads. What did I do today? What should I do tomorrow? What did that person think of me? Why didn't I get that promotion? Why did I say that embarrassing thing? Our minds are full of questions, worries, and desires. This constant mental chatter is not only exhausting, but also keeps us from reaching a restful state. Our minds are consumed by the very things that keep us awake: desire, fear, and attachment. And in the chaos of these thoughts, we miss the most important thing: the present moment. Zen meditation offers a way to break the cycle of restlessness. By practicing mindfulness, we can learn to simply observe our thoughts and desires without becoming entangled in them. We don't need to fight them or push them away. We simply let them come and go. When we stop clinging to our desires, when we stop trying to control them, we free ourselves from the mental agitation that prevents us from falling asleep. Think of it like this. Desire is like a wave in the ocean. It rises, peaks, and eventually crashes. When we fight the wave, we struggle against it. But when we observe it calmly, we see that it passes on its own. In the same way, our desires come and go. And when we stop clinging to them, we find a deep sense of peace that allows us to rest, free from the mental turmoil that keeps us awake. How desire becomes the enemy of sleep. Have you ever tried to fall asleep only to be plagued by thoughts of what you need to do tomorrow, what you didn't do today, or how you might not be good enough? These are the desires, fears, and attachments that haunt us in the quiet moments before sleep. When we become attached to these thoughts, they prevent us from reaching the deep rest that our bodies and minds crave. Our desires are not just mental, they are physical too. The tension in our bodies, the quickened heartbeat, the shallow breathing, these are all signs of the restless mind consumed by desire. In Zen, we are taught that desire leads to attachment, and attachment is the source of suffering. When we attach ourselves to our desires, we create expectations for how we think things should be. We develop an attachment to a certain outcome, and when that outcome doesn't materialize, we experience frustration and disappointment. This is what keeps us awake at night, replaying scenarios in our heads, yearning for control, clinging to outcomes. Zen teaches that true peace comes from releasing these attachments. The practice of mindfulness helps us let go of the need for outcomes, the need for control, the need to chase after desires. It allows us to rest in the present moment, free from the mental clutter that keeps us awake. The Zen solution: embracing desire without attachment. The key to overcoming desire, according to Zen, is not to eliminate it, but to change our relationship with it. Desire itself is not the enemy. It is our attachment to desire that causes us suffering. In Zen, we learn to observe our desires without clinging to them. One of the most powerful Zen practices for dealing with desire is mindfulness. When we practice mindfulness, we become aware of our desires without being controlled by them. We can acknowledge them, sit with them, and let them pass without getting lost in them. Imagine lying in bed at night, your mind full of worries, fears, and desires. Instead of trying to push these thoughts away or resist them, Zen teaches us to simply observe them. I am having a thought, you might say to yourself. I am desiring something. And then, with a deep breath, you let it go. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes to let go of the mental chatter and fall into a peaceful, restful sleep. The Zen master Shunryu Suzuki once said, "When you realize nothing is lacking, the whole world belongs to you." This simple yet profound teaching reminds us that desire arises from the feeling that something is missing, that we are incomplete. But when we learn to let go of desire and embrace the present moment, we realize that we are already whole. We don't need anything outside of ourselves to feel complete. This realization brings peace, and with it, the ability to rest deeply. Desire, the mind, and the power of letting go. Letting go is the essence of Zen practice. It's the practice of surrendering to the flow of life, of releasing our attachment to the things that keep us awake at night. When we let go of our desire for control, our attachment to the outcomes of our actions, we find peace in the present moment. And it is in this peace that true rest resides. Zen meditation teaches us to let go of all expectations, all desires, all attachments. When we let go, we stop fighting against the flow of life, and instead we move with it. And just like a river, when we move with life, we find a deep and natural flow of peace. In the next section, we'll explore how Zen practices can help us cultivate a mindset of letting go, both in our waking life and as we drift into sleep. The Prince and the Palace, Siddhartha's sheltered life. In a faraway kingdom nestled in the lush green hills of what is now Nepal, a child was born into luxury, destined for greatness. His name was Siddhartha Gautama, the son of King Suddhodana and Queen Maya. From the moment he opened his eyes, the world around him seemed perfect, a paradise of palaces, gardens, and comforts beyond imagination. Siddhartha was no ordinary child. He was heir to a vast kingdom, and his father, the king, had big plans for him. But those plans weren't about philosophy or spirituality. No, King Suddhodana wanted Siddhartha to become a great ruler, someone who would lead with power, strength, and unquestionable authority. To prepare his son for this future, the king ensured that Siddhartha was sheltered from the harshness of life. He surrounded him with beauty, wealth, and pleasure. Siddhartha had everything he could ever want: servants to attend to his needs, magnificent clothing, and the finest foods from around the world. He spent his days in the most exquisite palaces, playing in lush gardens, and indulging in every luxury. Yet, despite all of these privileges, Siddhartha felt a sense of emptiness growing within him. It was as if something was missing. While he was surrounded by beauty, there was a quiet yearning deep within his heart, an unspoken question that lingered in the back of his mind. Why do I have all this, yet feel so incomplete? The great revelation. Encountering suffering for the first time. Siddhartha's sheltered life continued for many years, but as he grew older, the questions inside him grew louder. One day, driven by a longing for something more, he asked his charioteer, Channa, to take him outside the palace gates. It was a rare request, as the king had carefully forbidden his son from venturing outside the palace walls. But Channa, loyal as ever, agreed, and together they journeyed into the world beyond the palace. What happened next would change Siddhartha's life forever. As they passed through the streets of the city, Siddhartha saw something that stunned him to his core. He saw an old man, frail, hunched over and covered in the signs of age. Siddhartha had never encountered aging before. He had never seen someone like this in the palace, where only the young and beautiful were kept in his view. Channa, Siddhartha asked in shock, "What is this? What has happened to this man?" Channa explained, "This is the inevitable process of aging, my prince. All beings grow old." Siddhartha was struck by the sight of aging, but this was only the beginning. As they continued on their journey, Siddhartha encountered sickness and death for the first time. He saw a man suffering from illness, groaning in pain. He saw a body being carried to the cremation grounds. Each sight, each revelation, pierced through the veil of illusion Siddhartha had been living under. His mind raced. How could this be? How could this be the fate of all beings? For the first time, Siddhartha was confronted with the impermanence of life, the fragility of the human body, and the certainty of death. And it was in this moment of revelation that he began to realize the truth that would shape his entire journey. No matter how much wealth or power we acquire, we are all subject to the same fate: suffering. The turning point. Leaving the palace, the truth of suffering began to haunt Siddhartha. He could no longer deny the reality of old age, sickness, and death. Despite his life of luxury, despite his father's protection, he could not escape the truth of the human condition. That night, Siddhartha made a decision that would change the course of his life forever. He decided to leave the comforts of the palace and embark on a journey to discover the root of suffering and how it could be overcome. He left behind his family, his wealth, and all that he had known. He chose to walk a path of self-discovery, a path that led him into the unknown. As he left the palace, Siddhartha looked back at his life, at the life he had been given and the life he had chosen. He looked at his wife, Yasudhara, and his newborn son, Rahula, who would grow up without him. The weight of his decision was heavy on his heart, but Siddhartha knew that to find the truth, he had to step into the unknown, to face the very suffering he had witnessed, and to seek its cause. He became a wandering ascetic, seeking out the wisest spiritual teachers of his time. He studied with them, practiced their techniques, and yet he found no lasting answers. He subjected himself to extreme forms of self-denial, fasting for days, meditating for hours on end. But despite his efforts, Siddhartha's mind and body became more exhausted, and still, the answer to suffering remained elusive. The middle way, finding the path to liberation. After years of extreme asceticism, Siddhartha reached a breaking point. His body was frail, and his mind was clouded with confusion. He realized that the path of extreme denial could not bring him the answers he sought. There had to be another way, a path that was not too indulgent and not too extreme. It was at this moment, sitting beneath the Bodhi tree, that Siddhartha made a vow to stay in meditation until he had found the truth. He chose to follow what would later be called the middle way, a path of balance between indulgence and asceticism. As he sat there, he meditated deeply, letting go of all desires and attachments. He focused on the nature of his own mind, the way thoughts arose and passed away, and the way his own suffering emerged from his attachments. It was in this profound silence and stillness that Siddhartha's mind awakened to a truth beyond words. He realized that suffering comes not from the world around us, but from the way we relate to it. The more we cling to desires, to expectations, to the belief that we can control life, the more we suffer. But when we let go of attachment, when we accept life as it is, we find peace. And in that peace, suffering dissolves. In this moment of profound insight, Siddhartha became the Buddha, the awakened one. The Buddha's first teachings, the Four Noble Truths. After his awakening, the Buddha did not keep his newfound wisdom to himself. He knew that the path to liberation had to be shared with others. He traveled to find his former companions, his fellow ascetics, and when he found them, he delivered his first teachings, known as the Four Noble Truths. The truth of suffering, dukkha. Life is filled with suffering, whether through pain, dissatisfaction, or the impermanence of all things. Suffering is an inherent part of the human experience. The truth of the cause of suffering. The cause of suffering is attachment, desire, and ignorance. Our cravings and attachments bind us to suffering, leading us to seek happiness in things that cannot bring true fulfillment. The truth of the end of suffering. Suffering can be overcome by eliminating attachment and desire. When we let go of our cravings and live in harmony with reality, we can achieve peace and liberation. The truth of the path to the end of suffering. The path to liberation is the Noble Eightfold Path, which includes right understanding, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. This path leads to wisdom, ethical conduct, and mental discipline, helping us find peace and end suffering. The Buddha's life after enlightenment, spreading the Dharma. The Buddha spent the next 45 years of his life traveling throughout India, teaching his insights and guiding others on the path of liberation. He did not claim to be a god or a savior. Instead, he offered practical teachings that could be tested and experienced by each individual. The Buddha's teachings on the nature of desire, suffering, and liberation remain as relevant today as they were 2,500 years ago. His path, the middle way, is a reminder that true peace is found not in the extremes of indulgence or self-denial, but in the balance between them. The Buddha also taught that we all have the potential for awakening. Just as he found his way to liberation, so too can each of us. We don't need to rely on beliefs or external sources of power. We simply need to look within and see the truth for ourselves. The paradox of emptiness. Finding true freedom. Imagine for a moment that everything you know about the world, your identity, your possessions, your very sense of self, is just a fleeting moment, like a wave that rises and falls in the ocean. What if I told you that there is no permanent, unchanging essence to any of it? No self that stands alone, untouched by the world around it. This is the essence of emptiness, shunyata, in Zen Buddhism. The realization that nothing in the universe has an inherent, independent existence. The world we see, the thoughts we experience, and even our own identities are all impermanent, ever-changing, and interconnected with everything else. In Zen, emptiness doesn't mean nothingness in the nihilistic sense. It means that all things, people, objects, and ideas are empty of a permanent, unchanging essence. They exist only in relation to everything else. The tree in your backyard isn't just a tree. It's made up of soil, air, sunlight, and countless other elements. The self you think you know isn't separate from others. It's a web of relationships, experiences, and changing sensations. Once we truly understand emptiness, we break free from the illusion that things are fixed or permanent. We let go of the need to control or cling to them, and in doing so, we open ourselves up to true freedom, the freedom that comes when we stop identifying with what is fleeting and instead embrace the flow of life as it is. Embracing emptiness, the path to liberation. In our everyday lives, we cling to our identities, our achievements, and our possessions, thinking they define who we are. We identify ourselves by our jobs, relationships, and social status. We attach meaning to the things we own, the people we love, and the way the world perceives us. But Zen asks us to challenge this very notion. Think about the last time you faced disappointment or frustration. Perhaps a goal you worked so hard for didn't materialize, or a relationship you thought was solid fell apart. The pain we feel in these moments comes from our attachment to the idea that things should be a certain way. We cling to expectations, to outcomes, to the idea that we should be something. But this is where emptiness comes in. Zen teaches that when we let go of these attachments, we discover a deeper peace, one that isn't dependent on how things unfold, but on how we experience them in the moment. When we understand that nothing has an inherent essence, nothing is permanent, we begin to release our attachment to these fleeting things. The pain of attachment slowly dissolves, and with it, our anxiety and fear of losing what we think we need. We can simply be with what is, without fear or judgment. This doesn't mean we become indifferent or detached from life. On the contrary, once we accept emptiness, we become more deeply connected to the world around us. We live more fully without the burden of attachment, the interconnectedness of all things, a web of life. The beauty of Zen lies in its radical interconnectedness. Zen sees the world not as a collection of separate, isolated entities, but as a vast, interconnected web of existence. Every thought, every action, every person, and every object is intricately linked to everything else. We are not isolated beings moving through a separate reality. We are part of an ever-changing flow of energy and life. The Buddha's teachings on dependent origination, pratityasamutpada, go hand in hand with emptiness. This principle teaches that everything exists because of something else. There is no independent, isolated existence. Just as the tree cannot grow without the soil, air, and sunlight, neither can we exist without the support and interconnection of others and the world around us. Imagine this. You are sitting in a quiet room and you close your eyes. For a moment, there is nothing but stillness. But if you focus deeply, you can feel the weight of the chair beneath you, the air moving through your body, the subtle sounds of the world outside your window. These are all interconnected forces. The air is not just air. It's the breath of the universe, shared by all living beings. The chair beneath you is not just a thing. It's a manifestation of the craftsmanship and materials that have come together through countless interactions. Zen encourages us to see the interconnectedness of all things, from the smallest particle to the vastness of the universe. This realization can bring a profound sense of peace, as we come to understand that we are not alone, that we are part of something much larger than ourselves. Breaking down the illusion of the separate self. One of the most profound aspects of Zen is the understanding that the self, the I we so strongly identify with, is an illusion. The self is not a fixed, permanent entity. It is a flow of experiences, thoughts, sensations, and interactions. Zen teaches that when we believe we are separate from others, we create suffering. This separation breeds attachment, fear, and isolation. The concept of the ego or the separate self is central to our suffering. We cling to this idea of me, my thoughts, my experiences, my desires, believing that it is real, fixed, and unchangeable. But Zen teaches that this self is fluid, ever-changing, and interconnected with everything else. When we identify too strongly with the self, we build barriers between ourselves and others. We create a sense of isolation and separation from the world. Once we realize the illusion of the separate self, we begin to break down the walls that keep us isolated. We start to see that we are not separate from others. We are all part of the same web of life. This realization opens us up to compassion, connection, and love. When we let go of the need to protect ourselves, we become more attuned to the needs of others. We recognize that their suffering is our suffering, and their joy is our joy. This is the essence of interbeing, a term coined by Zen teacher Thich Nhat Hanh. Interbeing is the realization that we are all interconnected, that we cannot exist without each other. Our actions, our thoughts, and our words have an impact on the world around us. When we recognize our interconnectedness, we begin to live with more mindfulness, compassion, and understanding. Zen meditation and the experience of emptiness. In Zen meditation, the practice of Zazen, seated meditation, helps us directly experience emptiness and interconnectedness. When we sit in stillness, we observe our thoughts and sensations as they arise and pass away. We don't cling to them or try to control them. We simply let them be. This practice helps us experience the truth of impermanence, that all things arise and fall away. The thoughts we cling to, the emotions we try to suppress, the desires we chase after, these are all fleeting. And when we let go of our attachment to them, we open ourselves to the present moment, free from the weight of the past and the future. Through Zazen, we learn that our thoughts and feelings are not who we are. They are simply temporary experiences passing through the vast space of our awareness. This realization brings a profound sense of peace. We stop identifying with the mind, and we begin to experience the world as it is, without the filter of ego and attachment. Interconnectedness in daily life, the Zen of ordinary moments. Zen's teaching of interconnectedness doesn't just apply to meditation. It applies to every moment of our lives. When we recognize that everything is interconnected, we begin to approach life with a sense of wonder and gratitude. Every action, no matter how small, is an opportunity to experience the world in its fullness. Zen teaches that we can find enlightenment in the most ordinary moments. When we wash dishes, we can be fully present, feeling the warm water and the soap bubbles. When we walk, we can pay attention to the sensation of each step, feeling the earth beneath us. Every moment is an opportunity to practice mindfulness, to experience the interconnectedness of all things. This approach transforms our daily lives into a form of spiritual practice. It reminds us that we don't need to search for something extraordinary or distant. Everything we need is already here, in the present moment. All we need to do is open our eyes and hearts to the beauty of the world around us, living in harmony with emptiness and interconnectedness. When we embrace emptiness, we stop clinging to the idea that we are separate and isolated. We stop chasing after things that don't truly fulfill us. Instead, we embrace the flow of life as it is. We become more connected to the world, to others, and to ourselves. We recognize that we are not separate from the universe, but a part of it. In this way, Zen teaches us to live with harmony and peace. We live without the fear of loss or the craving for gain. We live with an open heart, free from attachment, and in deep connection with the world around us. As we cultivate this awareness, we begin to experience a deeper sense of joy and contentment. We see the interconnectedness of all beings and the interdependence of life. And in this, we find the true freedom that Zen offers, the freedom to live without clinging, without fear, and without the illusion of separation. The power of stillness. Introducing Zen meditation. In the rush of everyday life, it's easy to forget the simple beauty of stillness. Our minds are constantly occupied, moving from thought to thought, worry to worry, constantly chasing something. Answers, fulfillment, security. But in Zen Buddhism, the practice of Zazen, simply sitting in stillness, holds the key to a deeper peace, not just during meditation but in every moment of our lives. The practice of Zen meditation offers a transformative way to quiet the noise of our busy minds and experience the world as it truly is. Zazen, which literally means seated meditation, is at the heart of Zen practice. And while it may seem deceptively simple, sitting quietly and observing, it's a profound way of reconnecting with ourselves, our bodies, and the world around us. But how does this relate to sleep? How can the practice of stillness and observation help us to sleep better, to rest more deeply, and to quiet the mind at the end of a long day? In Zen, sleep is seen not as something to be rushed or forced, but as a natural extension of the stillness we cultivate in meditation. Just as a calm pond reflects the world clearly, a calm mind reflects reality as it is, without the turbulence of unnecessary thoughts. By practicing Zen meditation, we can train our minds to enter this state of stillness, bringing peace, clarity, and a deeper connection to the present moment. And when we apply this stillness to our sleep, We create the perfect environment for deep, restful slumber. Zazen, the foundation of Zen meditation. The core of Zen practice is Zazen, a form of meditation that can be as simple as it is profound. To practice Zazen, all you need is a quiet space, a cushion or chair, and your body in a seated position. The essence of this practice lies not in forcing the mind into a state of blankness, but in observing the mind without attachment. You don't try to empty your mind, but instead, you let thoughts come and go freely, just as clouds drift across the sky. In Zazen, we sit with our backs straight, our hands placed gently in our laps, our eyes softly open, and our breath natural. The focus is on simply being, sitting with the body and mind as they are, without trying to change anything. The breath becomes the anchor that keeps us grounded in the present moment. As you begin to meditate, you'll notice thoughts arising, thoughts about the past, the future, desires, regrets. But Zen teaches us that these thoughts are like clouds passing by. They don't define us. The key is to observe them without judgment, without attachment. When you notice your mind wandering, simply bring your attention back to your breath. This practice teaches us that we don't have to be controlled by our thoughts. Instead, we can observe them and allow them to pass without getting swept away. This practice of stillness is the foundation of a peaceful mind, a mind that is capable of resting deeply when the time comes to sleep. Zazen trains us to let go of the mental clutter and distractions that often keep us awake at night. Mindfulness of breath, the path to quieting the mind. The breath is the anchor in Zen meditation. By focusing on the breath, we bring our attention to the present moment, away from the past and future. Our breath is always with us. It is constant, steady, and grounding. And yet, it is something we often take for granted. In Zen, we bring full awareness to our breath. We feel each inhale and exhale, noticing the sensations in our body as we breathe. As we sit in stillness, we focus solely on the rhythm of the breath, allowing it to become the focal point of our attention. This mindfulness of breath has a profound effect on our mental state. When we focus on the breath, we stop engaging with the thoughts and stories in our minds. The breath becomes a steady, calming force that slows the pace of our thinking and brings us into the present moment. In this space of calm, we can let go of anxiety, worry, and the constant chatter that fills our minds. When practiced regularly, mindfulness of the breath helps to build a habit of calmness and clarity. It teaches us that we don't need to chase after thoughts or cling to desires. We simply breathe, and in that breath we find peace. The Zen of restful sleep, bringing stillness into the night. Now, let's bring this practice of mindfulness into the night. When we lie down to sleep, our bodies may be ready for rest, but our minds are often still racing. The to-do lists, the worries, the mental chatter, these are the things that prevent us from falling asleep peacefully. Zen meditation offers a way to quiet the mind before bed, helping us enter into a state of calm and readiness for sleep. The first step in bringing Zen to your sleep routine is to let go of the day. As you settle into bed, take a few moments to reflect on the day, not with judgment or analysis, but with simple awareness. Notice how your body feels, how your breath flows. Acknowledge any lingering thoughts or feelings, but allow them to drift away, just like clouds passing in the sky. Then, bring your attention to your breath. Feel the cool air as it enters your nostrils and the warmth as it leaves your body. With each breath, you create space between the thoughts and the distractions that normally fill your mind. You don't need to force yourself to fall asleep. Instead, you let sleep come naturally, like a river flowing gently to the sea. Zen teaches us to stop striving, even in the act of falling asleep. It's not about trying hard to get a good night's rest. It's about creating the conditions for sleep to happen organically. When we let go of the need for control, when we stop trying to force the mind into stillness, we allow the natural rhythm of sleep to take over. The power of non-doing. Letting go of control. One of the core teachings of Zen is the concept of non-doing, or Wu Wei. This doesn't mean doing nothing. It means letting go of the need to control the process, to force things to happen. It's about allowing life to unfold naturally. When it comes to sleep, this teaching is particularly valuable. We often approach sleep as something we need to get or achieve. We try everything: sleeping pills, counting sheep, relaxing music, but these attempts can often backfire. We struggle to make sleep happen, and in doing so, we create tension and anxiety. Zen teaches us to stop striving and simply be. We don't have to force sleep to come. We simply need to let go of the need for it and trust that it will happen when the conditions are right. By practicing non-doing, we allow ourselves to rest fully and naturally. Zen techniques for better sleep. Practical tips. Create a Zen-inspired sleep environment. Just as Zen practitioners create a quiet, uncluttered space for meditation, your sleep environment should be calm and serene. Keep your bedroom simple, free from distractions like electronic devices or bright lights. Consider soft, natural materials like cotton sheets and a comfortable mattress to create an atmosphere of tranquility. Establish a pre-sleep ritual. Before bed, take time to unwind and prepare your body and mind for rest. Consider a short meditation session, focusing on your breath. You can also do a body scan, noticing any areas of tension and allowing them to relax. This helps signal to your body that it's time to sleep. Mindful breathing for sleep. When you lie down in bed, bring your attention to your breath. Breathe deeply, allowing your abdomen to rise and fall naturally. With each exhale, imagine releasing the tension of the day, letting go of any lingering thoughts or worries. This will help your mind settle into the present moment and guide you into a restful state. Let go of expectations. Zen teaches us to let go of our expectations, even when it comes to sleep. Instead of focusing on how much sleep you should get or trying to make yourself fall asleep, simply allow yourself to rest. Trust that your body knows how to sleep, and let go of the need to control the process. The Zen of waking up, carrying peace into the day. The beauty of Zen meditation is that it doesn't end when we finish our sitting session or when we fall asleep. The peace and clarity we cultivate in meditation flow into our everyday lives. Just as we create the conditions for restful sleep through mindfulness and non-doing, we can create the conditions for a peaceful, present day. When we wake up in the morning, we can start our day with the same mindfulness we practiced before bed. Take a few deep breaths, sit quietly for a moment, and notice how your body feels. Be present with the sensations of waking, without rushing to the next task or worry. This simple practice of mindfulness in the morning can set the tone for the entire day, helping you carry peace and presence into whatever comes your way. Living in the present moment. The essence of Zen. In the midst of a world that seems to be speeding faster and faster, with distractions pulling us in every direction, Zen Buddhism offers a profound truth. The only moment we ever truly have is the present one. Everything else, our past regrets, our future fears, is a construct of the mind. It doesn't exist in the here and now. Yet so often, we find ourselves lost in thoughts of what's already happened or what might happen next, missing the richness of the moment that is unfolding right before us. The Buddha's teachings are simple but transformative. He encouraged his followers not to look for peace in some distant future or from external circumstances, but to recognize that peace can only be found in the present moment. The key to Zen and to living a fulfilling life is learning how to experience this moment with full awareness, without distraction, without attachment, and without the need to control what happens. In Zen, the practice of mindfulness teaches us to come back to the present moment, again and again, despite the mind's tendency to wander. It's not about achieving some perfect state of awareness. It's about returning to the present each time we get lost in thoughts, desires, or worries. But what does this mean for us in our everyday lives, especially when it comes to sleep and rest? Let's explore how living fully in the present moment can transform not just our daily experiences, but also the way we rest. The mind's tendency to wander. Recognizing the patterns. If you've ever tried to meditate or just sit quietly for a few minutes, you'll know how quickly the mind begins to race. Thoughts flood in, concerns about the future, reflections on the past, desires for things we don't have. The mind, it seems, is constantly at work, churning through endless ideas, memories, and anxieties. This tendency of the mind to wander is a natural part of being human. Our brains are wired to solve problems, remember the past, and plan for the future. But what happens when we live too much in the future or the past? We miss out on the present, and with it, the only moment where true peace exists. Zen teaches us to observe this mental activity without judgment, without getting caught up in it. When we notice our minds wandering, thinking about something we have to do tomorrow, replaying an old conversation, or dreaming of a vacation, we don't need to fight it or push it away. Instead, we simply acknowledge the thought and then gently return to the present moment. Imagine you're sitting quietly and a thought arises about something you need to do tomorrow. Instead of following that thought down a spiral of anxiety, you simply recognize it. Yes, that's a thought about tomorrow. Then you bring your attention back to your breath or to the sensations in your body. This practice of returning to the present over and over again is what cultivates mindfulness. The more we practice this, the more we can catch ourselves when we start to get lost in distractions, worries, or daydreams. We begin to experience the present moment more fully, with less mental clutter, more clarity, and more peace. The present moment, the only moment that exists. Why is the present moment so powerful? The answer lies in the simple reality that the present is the only moment we truly have. The past is gone, and the future hasn't happened yet. While our minds may dwell in these places, the body is always here, in the present, and that's where our experience is grounded. In Zen practice, we learn that life happens only in the present. The sensations we feel, whether it's the warmth of the sun on our face or the cool breeze brushing against our skin, are happening now, not in some distant time. The joy of a good conversation, the taste of a delicious meal, the beauty of a sunset, all of these experiences are only available in the present moment. When we spend too much time thinking about the future, we miss the beauty that's unfolding in front of us right now. And when we spend too much time dwelling on the past, we carry with us old pains, regrets, and unresolved issues, preventing us from fully engaging with the life that is happening now. This is especially true when it comes to sleep. Our minds often become filled with worries and thoughts right before bed, thoughts about the day we had, or anxieties about tomorrow. This mental chatter keeps us from relaxing into the present, preventing us from falling asleep easily. By practicing mindfulness and focusing on the present moment, we can gently let go of these distractions and create the mental space needed for deep, restorative sleep. Mindfulness and sleep. A natural connection. Zen teaches us that mindfulness is the art of paying attention to what is happening right now. Whether it's the sound of the wind, the sensation of a warm blanket, or the rhythm of your breath. By practicing mindfulness, we cultivate the ability to be fully present, without judgment or distraction. When it comes to sleep, mindfulness can be an incredibly powerful tool. How often have you tried to fall asleep only to find your mind racing with worries? Or maybe you found yourself checking the clock every few minutes, wondering if you're getting enough sleep. This restless mind, filled with thoughts and anxieties, makes it almost impossible to relax enough to fall asleep. But what if you could train your mind to simply rest in the present moment? What if, instead of worrying about sleep, you could just be with the present moment and allow sleep to come naturally? Mindful sleep is about creating a mental environment that is calm, peaceful, and uncluttered by unnecessary thoughts. It's about letting go of the need to control the process of sleep, and instead, allowing it to unfold naturally. Creating a mindful sleep routine. The practice of mindfulness can help you create a soothing routine before bed, allowing you to wind down and prepare for a deep, restful night of sleep. Here are a few Zen-inspired tips for creating a mindful sleep routine. Turn off distractions. In the hour before bed, reduce the distractions around you. Turn off your phone, dim the lights, and create a calm, quiet environment. This helps signal to your mind that it's time to slow down and prepare for rest. Mindful breathing. Before you even lie down in bed, take a few minutes to focus on your breath. Sit in a comfortable chair or on the edge of your bed and close your eyes. Take a deep breath in, hold it for a moment, and then exhale slowly. Continue this deep breathing for several minutes, allowing your body to relax and your mind to become still. Body scan. As you lie in bed, do a gentle body scan. Starting from the top of your head, slowly bring your awareness to each part of your body, noticing any areas of tension or discomfort. As you exhale, imagine releasing that tension, allowing your body to soften and relax with each breath. Letting go of thoughts. If your mind begins to wander with thoughts or worries, simply notice them without judgment. Acknowledge that they are there, but don't engage with them. Gently bring your attention back to your breath or the sensations in your body. Cultivate gratitude. Before falling asleep, take a moment to reflect on the positive moments of your day. Gratitude helps shift your focus away from worries and brings your awareness to the present moment. This practice can soothe the mind and prepare it for restful sleep. Living with awareness. Bringing mindfulness into every moment. The teachings of Zen don't just apply to sleep. They apply to every moment of our lives. When we practice mindfulness, we begin to experience life in a richer, more vibrant way. Whether we're eating, walking, working, or simply sitting, we can bring our full attention to the present moment, appreciating life as it is, without distraction or attachment. Mindfulness isn't just about what we do. It's about how we do it. It's about being fully present in every task, no matter how mundane. It's about embracing the flow of life without rushing, without judgment, and without the need to control the outcome. When we approach life with mindfulness, we let go of the need to be anywhere but here, right now. The Zen of waking up, bringing awareness to your day. Just as we cultivate mindfulness before sleep, we can also begin our day with awareness. When you wake up in the morning, take a moment to pause and take a few deep breaths. Don't rush into your day. Allow yourself to experience the present moment with full awareness. As you stretch, feel the sensations in your body. As you get out of bed, notice how your feet touch the floor, the movement of your body. This practice of waking up with awareness sets the tone for the rest of the day. It helps you start your day with intention and presence, rather than rushing through it mindlessly. By living each moment with awareness, you can carry the calm and clarity of mindfulness throughout your day, including your interactions with others and your tasks at hand. The freedom of being present. In the end, the true beauty of Zen lies in its simplicity. The more we practice mindfulness and embrace the present moment, the more freedom we experience. We no longer feel the need to chase after happiness or success. We no longer fear the future or dwell on the past. We simply are, fully present in each moment, experiencing life as it comes. And when it comes time to sleep, we can rest easy, knowing that we don't have to strive, don't have to fight against our thoughts or worries. We can let go and trust that rest will come naturally, just as life itself unfolds in its own time. The heart of Zen, compassion for all beings. At the core of Zen practice is an understanding of the profound interconnectedness of all beings. Zen teaches us that we are not isolated, separate entities, but part of a vast web of life where every action, thought, and word impacts everything around us. This realization invites us into the space of compassion, a deep, unconditional understanding of the suffering of others and a genuine desire to alleviate it. True compassion in Zen doesn't come from pity or charity, but from a recognition that the pain we see in others is the same pain we carry within ourselves. In Zen, compassion is not just an emotional response. It's an expression of our deep awareness of the shared human experience. It is the wisdom that arises when we see that the suffering of others is our suffering, and their joy is our joy. The Zen teacher Thich Nhat Hanh once said, "Compassion is a verb." It is not enough to feel compassion in our hearts, we must act on it. Compassion in Zen is not an abstract, distant concept. It's something we practice daily in our relationships, our interactions, and our thoughts. It's something we embody, allowing it to transform not just our own hearts but also the world around us. But how do we cultivate compassion? And how can we use this compassion to create peace within ourselves, especially when our own minds are filled with anxiety, desire, or restlessness? The practice of compassion, starting with ourselves. Before we can extend compassion to others, we must first learn to extend it to ourselves. This is where self-acceptance comes in. In a world that constantly tells us we are not enough, Zen invites us to stop the inner critic and embrace our imperfections with love and kindness. Zen doesn't teach us to strive for perfection or to beat ourselves up for mistakes. Instead, it teaches us to accept ourselves as we are, flaws, mistakes, fears, and all, and to offer ourselves the same compassion that we would give to a dear friend. Think about it. How often do we criticize ourselves for the smallest missteps? How often do we berate ourselves for not being good enough or for not achieving enough? Yet, this self-judgment only breeds more suffering. As Zen teacher Shunryu Suzuki once said, "You are perfect just as you are, and you could use a little improvement." This paradoxical statement perfectly encapsulates the Zen approach. You are already whole, but the practice of Zen is to let go of the attachment to imperfection and to live more authentically and peacefully. The art of letting go, releasing self-judgment. Self-acceptance is the art of letting go of the need to be perfect. It's the recognition that we don't need to live up to some idealized version of ourselves. In Zen, we understand that imperfection is part of being human. Just as a cracked teacup is still used and appreciated for its beauty, so too can we embrace our imperfections with love and compassion. This practice of self-acceptance is especially important in our modern world, where the pressure to be perfect is often overwhelming. Whether it's the pressure to look a certain way, to achieve certain goals, or to fit into societal expectations, these external pressures can lead to inner turmoil and restlessness. They keep us from resting deeply because we're constantly caught in a cycle of self-criticism and the belief that we are not enough. Zen teaches us that true peace comes when we stop fighting against ourselves. When we accept ourselves, our flaws, our mistakes, our unique journey, we open ourselves up to the freedom of simply being. We release the burden of perfection and instead embrace the beauty of the present moment. Compassion and acceptance in action, Zen and relationships. Zen's emphasis on compassion extends to others as well. In every interaction, Zen invites us to bring our full awareness and compassion. Whether we're speaking with a loved one, a colleague, or a stranger, our words and actions can either heal or harm. Compassion is about responding to others with an open heart, free from judgment, expectations, or the need to control. One of the most powerful Zen teachings on compassion comes from the story of the two monks. Two monks were traveling together when they came across a young woman who was struggling to cross a river. The elder monk, without hesitation, picked her up and carried her across. The younger monk, disturbed by this, said nothing but was deeply troubled by the monk's actions. Later, after several hours of walking in silence, the younger monk couldn't contain his frustration any longer. "Master," he said, "as monks, we are not supposed to touch women. How could you carry her across the river?" The elder monk replied calmly, "I put her down hours ago. Why are you still carrying her?" This story is a powerful reminder that compassion is about responding in the moment without attachment to rules, expectations, or judgments. It's about seeing the person in front of us, understanding their need, and offering help without hesitation. The younger monk was still carrying the burden of his judgment, long after the action had taken place. But the elder monk had already let it go, embodying the Zen ideal of living freely in the present, without attachment to the past. Compassion for the world, extending Zen to global challenges. While Zen teaches us to start with ourselves and our close relationships, it also calls us to extend our compassion to the larger world. In Zen, we understand that our interconnectedness with others doesn't stop at our family or community. It extends to all living beings, and indeed, the entire planet. The practice of compassion in Zen is not just about personal peace. It's about recognizing that we are part of something much larger than ourselves. Zen-inspired social action, such as engaged Buddhism, is the embodiment of this compassionate vision. It's about bringing the teachings of Zen into real-world issues, whether it's environmental protection, social justice, or peace-building. Thich Nhat Hanh, one of the most influential Zen teachers, founded the Engaged Buddhism movement, which calls on practitioners to take an active role in addressing the suffering in the world. His teachings emphasize that true Zen is not about retreating from life, but engaging with it in a way that promotes healing, peace, and compassion for all beings. When we live with awareness and compassion, we begin to see the suffering in the world, not as something separate from us, but as a reflection of our shared humanity. This recognition empowers us to take action, to speak out against injustice, and to work toward a more compassionate and peaceful world. Compassion and sleep, creating inner peace. The practice of compassion isn't just for others, it's for ourselves as well. When we cultivate compassion within, we create the mental and emotional space for deep, peaceful rest. One of the reasons we often struggle with sleep is that we carry the weight of self-criticism, fear, and unresolved emotions. Compassionate self-acceptance helps us release this weight, allowing us to relax and fall asleep without the burden of judgment or anxiety. Mindful self-compassion, MSC, a practice that draws on Zen principles, teaches us to treat ourselves with the same kindness and understanding we offer to others. Instead of criticizing ourselves for the things we think we should have done or the mistakes we've made, we offer ourselves the gift of gentle acceptance. Before sleep, take a moment to reflect on the day with compassion. Acknowledge any challenges you faced without judgment. Recognize that you did the best you could with the resources you had at the time. This self-compassionate approach creates an emotional release that allows the body to relax and the mind to settle into a restful state. Acceptance of impermanence, finding peace in change. One of the most profound aspects of Zen practice is the acceptance of impermanence, the understanding that everything, including our thoughts, emotions, and even our very bodies, is constantly changing. Nothing lasts forever, and this truth is both humbling and liberating. When we accept the impermanence of life, we stop clinging to things that are fleeting. We stop trying to hold onto moments, experiences, or possessions as though they will provide us with lasting happiness. We understand that life is always in flux, and in that recognition, we find a deeper peace. This acceptance of change is crucial for sleep as well. Often, our inability to fall asleep comes from our resistance to the inevitable. The passage of time, the uncertainties of the future, the mistakes of the past. When we let go of the need to control or hold onto any of it, we find rest. As Zen master Shunryu Suzuki wisely said, if you cannot find the truth right where you are, where else do you expect to find it? Living compassionately, embodying Zen in everyday life. To live compassionately is to embrace each moment fully, with awareness, kindness, and understanding. This practice extends beyond meditation and extends into every aspect of our lives. Whether we're interacting with others, facing personal challenges, or preparing for sleep, compassion is the lens through which we view the world. By cultivating compassion, we find peace not just in the quiet moments, but in the everyday. Zen invites us to live with an open heart, without clinging to expectations or judgments. It teaches us to meet each moment as it is, with full presence, and to offer ourselves and others the compassion that heals. The path to restful sleep, introducing Zen techniques. In the pursuit of a peaceful, restful night's sleep, we often find ourselves overwhelmed by a mind that refuses to slow down. Our day's worries, the endless to-do lists, and the anxious thoughts about the future cloud our ability to rest. If you've ever found yourself tossing and turning at night, wishing for sleep to come, you're not alone. In today's fast-paced, stress-filled world, achieving deep, restorative sleep seems like a distant dream. However, Zen Buddhism offers us a gentle, profound approach to solving this issue, not by seeking external solutions, but by looking inward and changing the way we experience the present moment. Through mindfulness, meditation, and simple Zen-inspired techniques, we can create the mental space needed for true rest. These practices, rooted in the timeless wisdom of Zen, can transform the way we approach sleep, helping us enter into a state of calm and peacefulness that leads to restful slumber. Zen teaches us that peace doesn't need to be pursued. It's always available in the present moment. We simply need to stop resisting and start embracing the now. In this section, we'll explore practical Zen techniques that help calm the mind, release tension, and create the perfect conditions for deep, uninterrupted sleep. 1. Creating a Zen-inspired sleep environment. Before we even lie down to sleep, the environment around us plays a crucial role in setting the stage for rest. Zen teachings emphasize simplicity, peace, and balance, qualities that should be reflected in the space where we sleep. When we create a calming environment, we invite the mind and body to relax and let go of the stresses of the day. A Zen-inspired sleep environment is not cluttered, overstimulating, or filled with distractions. It is a space designed to promote stillness and tranquility. Here, how you can transform your bedroom into a peaceful retreat for rest. Simplicity and cleanliness. Zen is all about simplicity. Clutter in our environment can create clutter in our minds, so it's essential to keep your bedroom free of unnecessary items. Consider using minimal furniture, neutral colors, and calming lighting. A simple, tidy room helps signal to your brain that it's time to wind down and prepare for sleep. Lighting. Zen teaches us to respect the natural rhythms of the day, and lighting plays a significant role in creating those rhythms. As evening approaches, dim the lights in your room to prepare your body for rest. Avoid harsh, bright lights in the hour before bed. Instead, use soft, warm lighting or candles if safe to create a gentle ambience. Darkness at night helps your body release melatonin, the hormone that regulates sleep. Comfortable bedding. Your bed should be a sanctuary of comfort. Choose bedding that is soft and natural, such as cotton or linen, and ensure your pillow and mattress provide the right support for your body. The more comfortable your body feels, the easier it will be to let go of tension and enter into deep sleep. 2. The Zen of breathing. Mindful breathing for sleep. One of the most effective Zen techniques for calming the mind and preparing for sleep is mindful breathing. Our breath is a powerful tool for calming the nervous system, slowing down the heart rate, and relaxing the body. When we focus on our breath, we immediately bring our awareness to the present moment, pulling us away from racing thoughts and worries. Zen meditation emphasizes breathing as a central practice. The act of focusing on the breath not only helps with meditation, but also has profound effects on our ability to fall asleep peacefully. Here are some mindful breathing techniques you can try before bed. The 4-7-8 breathing technique. This technique, popularized by Dr. Andrew Weil, is inspired by the principles of yoga and Zen. It is simple, effective, and can help quiet the mind and relax the body. Inhale quietly through your nose for 4 counts. Hold your breath for 7 counts. Exhale completely through your mouth for 8 counts, making a whooshing sound. Repeat this cycle for several rounds. The extended exhalation activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which helps induce relaxation and calm the mind. Abdominal breathing. Zen emphasizes breathing deeply into the abdomen, rather than shallow chest breathing. Abdominal breathing helps engage the diaphragm and activates the body's natural relaxation response. To practice abdominal breathing before bed, lie comfortably in bed with your hands resting on your abdomen. Take a slow, deep breath in through your nose, allowing your abdomen to rise as you fill your lungs with air. Exhale slowly and gently through your mouth, letting your abdomen fall. Focus on the rise and fall of your abdomen with each breath, allowing your mind to settle with the rhythm of your breathing. This technique calms the nervous system, reduces stress, and prepares the body for sleep. 3. Letting go. A Zen approach to releasing the day's tension. Zen meditation teaches us the practice of non-attachment, letting go of thoughts, desires, and worries without judgment. One of the most effective ways to prepare for sleep is by letting go of the day's events, leaving behind any mental clutter that prevents relaxation. The Buddha taught that attachment to thoughts and experiences leads to suffering. We become attached to the narrative of our day, replaying it over and over in our minds, holding onto both the pleasant and the painful moments. This attachment keeps us from truly resting and embracing the present moment. To let go of the day's tension before bed, you can use a practice called body scan meditation. This technique involves scanning the body for any areas of tension or discomfort and gently releasing them. It's a mindful practice that invites deep relaxation and prepares the body for restful sleep. Body scan meditation. Lie comfortably on your back in bed, with your arms at your sides and your legs extended. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths, bringing your attention to your body. Start with your toes, noticing any sensations in this area. Are they tense, relaxed, or numb? Gently release any tension by breathing into that area. Gradually move up through your body, your feet, ankles, calves, knees, thighs, hips, scanning each part of your body, noticing how it feels, and relaxing any tension you encounter. Continue this process all the way up your body, including your abdomen, chest, shoulders, arms, neck, and face. As you reach your head, notice the sensations in your jaw, your eyes, your forehead. Let go of any tension in these areas and allow yourself to feel deeply relaxed. By bringing awareness to each part of your body and gently releasing tension, you create the mental and physical space needed for deep rest. 4. The power of letting go of control, surrendering to sleep. Zen teachings emphasize non-striving, the art of letting go of the need to achieve or control. In our modern world, we're constantly striving for outcomes, success, happiness, perfection. This striving can even extend to our desire for sleep. We lie in bed, willing ourselves to fall asleep, which often only creates more anxiety and restlessness. In Zen, we learn that true peace comes when we stop trying so hard. Instead of forcing ourselves to sleep, we allow sleep to come naturally. We trust that our body knows what to do, and we let go of the need to control the process. A Zen-inspired approach to sleep involves surrendering to the natural rhythm of rest. When we stop fighting against wakefulness, we allow sleep to unfold on its own. Here is how you can practice surrender before sleep. The practice of non-doing. Lie in bed and close your eyes. Instead of focusing on your thoughts or trying to sleep, simply let go. Trust that sleep will come when the time is right. If thoughts arise, acknowledge them but don't engage with them. Simply return to the sensation of your breath or the feeling of the bed beneath you. With each exhale, imagine releasing your desire for sleep. Allow the body and mind to soften, knowing that the process of sleep is not something to be forced, but something that will come naturally. This practice of non-doing helps create the perfect environment for sleep. It removes the pressure and the anxiety around the act of sleeping, allowing the body and mind to relax deeply. 5. Mindful sleep rituals. Incorporating Zen into your evening routine. Zen teaches us that rituals can be a powerful tool for grounding us in the present moment and creating a sense of peace. While Zen does not prescribe specific rituals for sleep, you can create your own evening ritual that helps signal to your body that it's time to rest. By incorporating simple mindfulness practices into your bedtime routine, you create a peaceful transition from the busyness of the day to the calm of night. Here are some Zen-inspired rituals to try before bed. Gentle stretches. Gentle stretching can release physical tension in the body and prepare it for rest. Try stretching out your neck, back, and legs with slow, mindful movements. Focus on the sensation of each stretch, feeling the release of tension in your muscles. This helps relax your body and calm your mind. Drinking tea. Herbal teas such as chamomile or valerian root are known for their calming properties. Take time to sit down and drink a warm cup of tea before bed, savoring the flavors and the warmth. This practice not only helps prepare the body for rest, but also brings mindfulness to your evening routine. 6. Embracing impermanence, letting go of expectations for sleep. Zen also teaches us to embrace impermanence, the understanding that everything in life, including our thoughts, feelings, and even sleep, is constantly changing. The more we try to hold on to sleep, the more elusive it becomes. We can't control when or how sleep comes, just as we can't control the events of the day. Instead of striving for sleep, Zen invites us to embrace the impermanence of sleep. Some nights we may sleep deeply, while other nights we may struggle. Either way, we accept it as it is, without judgment or frustration. By letting go of expectations, we allow ourselves to rest, knowing that each night is a new opportunity to relax and find peace. Part 10. Conclusion. The path to inner peace and restful sleep. The essence of Zen, a life of balance and presence. Zen Buddhism offers us something radically simple, yet profoundly transformative. The invitation to experience life exactly as it is. Not as we wish it to be, not as we imagine it in our idealized thoughts, but as it actually is, imperfect, changing, and filled with beauty and mystery. This simplicity is at the heart of Zen, living in the present moment without clinging to past regrets or future anxieties. It's about finding peace not through external circumstances, but through deep awareness and mindful presence. Throughout this journey into Zen, we've explored practices that can transform our approach to life and sleep, revealing that true peace is not a distant goal to be chased, but a reality we can experience in the here and now. From letting go of attachment to embracing impermanence, from understanding the nature of desire to living compassionately, Zen teaches us to live more fully, with greater clarity and acceptance of what is. The teachings of Zen, while ancient, are incredibly relevant today. They offer a path of peace and clarity in a world that often feels overwhelming and chaotic. And at the heart of it all, Zen offers us a simple but profound truth. The path to peace begins with the present moment, the middle way, walking the path of balance. One of the most profound teachings of Zen is the concept of the middle way, a path of balance between extremes. In our modern world, we often find ourselves swinging between indulgence and denial, overwhelmed by the pressures of success, perfection, and self-sacrifice. Yet Zen teaches that the key to true freedom and peace is to walk the middle path, where we neither chase after pleasure nor run from pain. We embrace life as it is, without attachment or resistance. In terms of sleep, this means letting go of the constant striving for perfect rest and instead allowing sleep to come naturally. We stop fighting against the very thing we seek, and instead, we create the conditions that allow rest and relaxation to unfold with ease. The middle way in Zen is not about avoiding challenges or seeking constant comfort. It's about being present with whatever comes our way, without being swayed by extremes. By practicing mindfulness and non-attachment, we create the mental and emotional space necessary for a peaceful, restful mind. We stop chasing after perfect sleep and instead allow ourselves to rest in the present moment, trusting that the body and mind will find their way to deep, rejuvenating sleep when the conditions are right. Compassion and acceptance, the foundation of inner peace. Another core teaching of Zen is compassion for ourselves and for others. Zen invites us to live with open hearts, to embrace our own imperfections and the imperfections of others. We often carry a harsh inner critic, judging ourselves for not being good enough, not achieving enough, or not living up to some idealized version of who we think we should be. But Zen teaches us that true peace begins with self-acceptance. The practice of self-compassion in Zen isn't about making excuses or letting ourselves off the hook. It's about recognizing that we are all imperfect, that we are all on a journey of growth, and that we deserve kindness and patience. When we learn to offer ourselves the same compassion we extend to others, we create a deep sense of inner peace that allows us to rest and relax without the weight of self-judgment. This compassionate approach also extends to our interactions with others. Zen teaches that we are all interconnected, that the joy and suffering of others are intimately connected to our own. By living with compassion, we open our hearts to the suffering of the world and respond with wisdom and kindness. We recognize that our actions matter, that we have the power to bring peace and healing to the world around us. This interconnectedness is a key part of finding peace, both in our relationships and in our own minds. As Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh so beautifully put it, compassion is a verb. It's not enough to feel compassion for others. We must act on it. Compassion is not passive. It's an active force that transforms our hearts and our actions, leading to peace, healing, and connection. Embracing impermanence. The freedom of letting go. In Zen, one of the most important teachings is the acceptance of impermanence. Everything in life is in constant flux: our thoughts, our feelings, our bodies, and the world around us. Nothing is permanent. And yet, we often cling to the illusion of permanence, thinking that the things we desire will bring us lasting happiness. This attachment to the idea that life should stay the same, that we can hold onto moments or people, causes suffering. The truth is, impermanence is the nature of life. Everything that arises will eventually pass. But instead of fearing this, Zen teaches us to embrace it. By recognizing that life is constantly changing, we free ourselves from the need to control or hold onto anything. We learn to accept things as they are, without judgment or resistance. This is especially relevant to sleep. Often, our inability to sleep comes from our resistance to the natural flow of our bodies and minds. We try too hard to control the process, to force ourselves into sleep, and we end up frustrated and wide awake. Zen teaches us to let go of this control, to embrace the natural rhythms of our bodies, and to allow sleep to come in its own time. When we embrace impermanence, we release the need for perfect control over every moment, and we find peace in the process of letting go. In this way, Zen doesn't teach us to escape from life's changes. It teaches us to embrace them with grace, knowing that each moment, no matter how fleeting, is precious. Mindfulness, the key to peaceful sleep. At the heart of Zen practice is mindfulness, the ability to be fully present in each moment, without judgment or distraction. Mindfulness is not about avoiding thoughts or feelings. It's about observing them with awareness and letting them come and go naturally. In the context of sleep, mindfulness helps us let go of the mental chatter that keeps us awake at night. When we lie down to sleep, the mind often becomes filled with thoughts about the day, worries about the future, and anxieties about our performance. But mindfulness allows us to observe these thoughts without getting caught up in them. We notice the thoughts, but we don't identify with them. We let them pass like clouds in the sky. Mindfulness of the breath is one of the most powerful tools for calming the mind before sleep. By focusing on our breath, we bring our attention to the present moment, grounding ourselves in the here and now. As we breathe in and out, we allow the tension of the day to dissolve, and we create the mental space needed for sleep to come naturally. Zen also teaches us the practice of mindful gratitude. Before bed, take a moment to reflect on the positive moments of your day. This practice of gratitude helps shift your focus away from worries and brings your awareness to the present moment. When we end the day with gratitude and mindfulness, we create the perfect conditions for a peaceful night's sleep. The art of non-striving, letting go of the need to achieve sleep. One of the most important Zen teachings when it comes to sleep is the concept of non-striving. In our modern world, we are conditioned to believe that we must strive for everything: success, happiness, and even sleep. We try to force sleep to happen, counting the minutes, checking the clock, and stressing about how little rest we're getting. But Zen teaches us that striving creates resistance. When we try too hard to make something happen, we only create more anxiety. The same is true for sleep. The more we try to control the process, the more elusive sleep becomes. Instead, Zen teaches us to let go of the need to make sleep happen. When we release our attachment to the outcome and allow ourselves to simply be, sleep comes naturally. This is a profound lesson in letting go. Don't force it, don't strive for it. Just allow it to unfold. When we approach sleep with the attitude of non-striving, we relax into the experience. We trust that sleep will come when the time is right, and we let go of the pressure to make it happen. This shift in perspective allows us to sleep more peacefully, without the tension and resistance that often keeps us awake. Zen's lasting gift. Peace beyond sleep. As we conclude this journey through Zen and its practices for sleep, one truth becomes clear. Peace is not something to be attained, but something to be realized. Through mindfulness, compassion, and acceptance, Zen teaches us to live fully in the present moment, embracing the flow of life without attachment. When we embrace Zen's teachings, we discover that sleep isn't a destination to be reached. It's a natural state of being that arises when we let go of the need to control. It's a return to our true nature, a return to the peace that exists beneath the surface of our busy minds. Zen offers us the tools to calm the mind, heal the heart, and rest the body. Through its teachings, we find a path to deep, restful sleep and a life of peace, presence, and mindfulness. It is a gift we can carry with us every night, every day, and in every moment of our lives. The path to restful sleep and inner peace. The path to peaceful sleep is not about forcing ourselves to rest, but about creating the conditions for sleep to come naturally. It's about learning to live with awareness, to embrace the present moment, and to let go of the attachments that keep us awake at night. Zen's teachings are a gentle invitation to rest in the natural flow of life, trusting that peace is always available to us when we stop striving for it. Through mindfulness, compassion, and acceptance, we can create a life of balance and presence, where sleep becomes a natural extension of our awakened minds. As Zen master Shunryu Suzuki once said, "When you realize nothing is lacking, the whole world belongs to you." And in that realization, we find the peace that has always been there. The story of Siddhartha Gautama, later known as the Buddha, is one of profound transformation and awakening, a journey that takes him from a life of privilege and luxury to one of deep spiritual insight and ultimate enlightenment. His path was not linear, nor was it easy. It was marked by confusion, struggle, and revelation. But through it all, he discovered something that transcended all the material comforts, all the external validation, and all the fleeting desires of his former life. He uncovered the truth about suffering, the nature of desire, and how to find peace in a world that constantly changes. Siddhartha's journey began in the opulence of the royal palace, where he was shielded from the harsh realities of life. He was given everything he could ever want: wealth, beauty, comfort, and security. Yet, despite all of this, Siddhartha felt a deep sense of dissatisfaction. There was something missing, something beyond the wealth and pleasure he had been offered. The deeper questions of life and existence began to stir within him. What is the meaning of suffering? Why do we age, get sick, and eventually die? Is there a way to escape this constant cycle of pain? When Siddhartha ventured outside the palace and saw the reality of aging, sickness, and death, he was shaken to his core. These sights ignited a spark of curiosity and led him to leave his life of comfort behind. He set out on a path of self-discovery, not knowing where it would lead, but knowing that he had to find the answers to these profound questions. His journey led him to extreme asceticism, as he tried to punish his body in search of spiritual liberation. But through all his suffering, he realized that neither indulgence in pleasures nor extreme deprivation could bring him peace. It was under the Bodhi tree, in a moment of deep meditation, that Siddhartha's enlightenment occurred. He understood that suffering is an intrinsic part of life, that desire and attachment to things that are impermanent lead to pain, and that the way to peace is found in understanding and accepting the nature of life as it is. He discovered that the root cause of suffering is attachment, the desire for things to be other than they are. By letting go of this attachment, we free ourselves from suffering. The Buddha's enlightenment was not a mystical experience in the traditional sense, but a profound realization that he had the ability to see things as they truly are, beyond the illusions created by the mind. This clarity of vision revealed the Four Noble Truths, that suffering is a part of life, that the cause of suffering is attachment and desire, that suffering can be overcome, and that the path to ending suffering is the Eightfold Path, which emphasizes right understanding, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. The Buddha's path was not about escaping life's challenges, but about embracing them with awareness and wisdom. He understood that we do not need to seek happiness in external circumstances or possessions, but in our ability to be present, to observe the mind, and to let go of our attachments to fleeting desires. His teachings brought a new understanding of the nature of life and provided a blueprint for how to live with greater peace and less suffering. After his awakening, the Buddha spent the next 45 years of his life sharing his insights with others, teaching the path of liberation through mindfulness and meditation. He taught not only about the impermanence of all things, but also about the interconnectedness of all beings. He emphasized that we are all part of a larger web of life, and that our actions, thoughts, and intentions affect the world around us. The Buddha's teachings are not about blind faith, but about cultivating direct insight and understanding through personal experience. His story is a powerful reminder that true peace does not come from the external world. It does not come from acquiring more wealth, achieving more success, or gaining more recognition. True peace comes from letting go of our attachment to desires and expectations, and from learning to embrace the present moment as it is. The Buddha's journey shows us that awakening is not about becoming someone else, but about realizing the truth of our own existence, seeing things as they truly are, beyond the veil of illusion created by our minds. The profound lessons of Siddhartha's journey, how we can apply them to our lives. Siddhartha's journey is not just a story about a historical figure. It is a timeless narrative that speaks to all of us. The lessons we can draw from his life are both profound and practical. These teachings are as relevant today as they were over 2 millennia ago, providing insights into how we can navigate our own challenges and live with greater peace, clarity, and purpose. 1. The importance of self-discovery. Siddhartha's path was one of self-discovery, not one dictated by societal expectations or external validation. He didn't simply follow the teachings of others, he sought his own truth. In today's world, we often find ourselves chasing after the expectations set by society, whether it's the pressure to conform to career paths, relationships, or societal ideals of success. But like Siddhartha, true peace is found when we stop living according to the opinions of others and start seeking the truth within ourselves. Application. Take time to reflect on your own life. What is your purpose? What are your core values? Are you living authentically, or are you living to meet the expectations of others? Like Siddhartha, begin your own journey of self-discovery, trusting that the answers to life's biggest questions can only be found within. 2. The realization that desire leads to suffering. One of the core teachings of the Buddha is that desire is the root cause of suffering. We constantly desire more success, more recognition, more possessions, believing that achieving these desires will lead to happiness. But Siddhartha's realization was clear. Attachment to desires only brings more suffering. When we cling to things that are impermanent, we are bound to experience disappointment and pain. Application. Reflect on your desires. What do you truly want and why? Are your desires based on what society tells you need, or are they aligned with your authentic self? By letting go of attachments to fleeting desires and learning to live with contentment, you will find greater peace and freedom. 3. The power of mindfulness and presence. Siddhartha's enlightenment came not through intellectual understanding, but through direct experience. His practice of mindfulness, Simply observing the nature of his thoughts and sensations allowed him to see the truth of impermanence, suffering, and non-self. In today's world, where our minds are constantly distracted, mindfulness offers a powerful tool for cultivating peace and clarity. Application: incorporate mindfulness into your daily routine. Whether it's through meditation, mindful walking, or simply paying attention to your breath, bring your awareness to the present moment. Practice being fully present with whatever you're doing, and watch how it transforms your experience of life. 4. Embracing impermanence. The Buddha's teachings on impermanence remind us that everything in life is constantly changing. Nothing stays the same, and yet we often hold on to the illusion that things should be permanent. This attachment to permanence is what causes so much of our suffering. Application: embrace change as a natural part of life. When things don't go as planned, instead of resisting, allow yourself to flow with the changes. Recognize that everything in life is impermanent, and this realization will help you let go of attachment and find peace in the midst of uncertainty. 5. The importance of compassion for all beings. Siddhartha's awakening was not just about understanding the nature of suffering, but also about recognizing the interconnectedness of all beings. He saw that the suffering of others was his own suffering, and this led him to cultivate deep compassion for all life. Zen, at its core, is about living with compassion, both for others and for ourselves. Application: practice compassion in your daily life. Show kindness to others and recognize that everyone is going through their own struggles. Extend that same compassion to yourself, letting go of self-judgment and embracing the imperfections that make you human. The story of Siddhartha Gautama is not just a spiritual tale. It's a roadmap for living a life of peace, awareness, and compassion. These lessons can be applied directly to our everyday lives, no matter where we are on our own journeys. Here's how you can apply these teachings. Self-discovery: take time to reflect on your life. What are your true desires? What brings you joy? What are your values, and how are you living according to them? Begin a practice of journaling or meditation to help you uncover your authentic path. Let go of attachment to desire. Pay attention to the desires that drive you. Are you chasing after things that don't truly serve your well-being? Practice letting go of the need for external validation and find peace in the present moment. Practice mindfulness. Start each day with mindfulness. Set aside time for meditation, even if it's just 5 minutes. Throughout the day, bring your full attention to whatever you're doing, whether it's eating, walking, or speaking to someone. Embrace impermanence. Recognize that change is inevitable. When challenges arise, instead of resisting, try to accept them as opportunities for growth. By letting go of the need for permanence, you will find more peace in every moment. Live with compassion. Be kind to yourself and others. Practice empathy and understand that everyone is carrying their own burdens. Show compassion through small acts of kindness and extend the same love and care to yourself. As we come to the end of Siddhartha's story and the profound lessons it offers, I invite you to reflect on your own path. The journey toward inner peace, restful sleep, and a life of fulfillment is always unfolding, and it starts with the choices we make in the present moment. If you found value in these teachings and the lessons of Siddhartha, I encourage you to subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us continue to create content that inspires and empowers. Together, we can walk the path of peace, mindfulness, and compassion, and share in the wisdom that leads to a more harmonious life. Subscribe now to stay connected, and let's continue this journey together, learning and growing in the present moment.